Hello guys, this is gonna be my second part of my detailed beginner's guide, and in this video I'm gonna be talking about building the right team. You need to build the right team in order to maximize the potential of each team member, and because each hero has its own strength and weaknesses, you need to have the right team synergy to get through the various stages in the game, and with the right team you can do it quite fast. Your main focus in the early game should be heroes that have multiple uses in various modes throughout the whole, and they're gonna be used for quite some time. Units like Velika, Shane, Jupi. Also, I wanted to talk about buffs and debuffs. A lot of passives. A lot of people keep asking about passive, if they stack, if they don't stack. Let's take for example Ace and Rachel. Ace. First part of his passive is increases all damage inflicted on enemies by 50% and decreases defense by 50%. Okay, and then Rachel's skill is decreases the enemy damage and defense by 80% for 2 turns. As you can see, Ace passives has reduces enemy defense by 80% and increases the damage dealt to the enemy, which is not the same as decreases the enemy's damage. While the defense part won't stack, it's only gonna add the defense reduced part, and it's gonna add the 80% since it's higher. If we also add someone like let's see, somebody like Lee Young, he's here. His passive decreases all enemies damage by 40%. Okay, so now we've got 3 heroes. And Rachel's skill, as you can see, decreases the enemy damage and defense by 80%. So this is gonna come on top of the other 2 passives, whether we use the skill or not. Also, Ace increases all damage inflicted on enemies by 50%. His skill increases the damage received by the enemy by 80%. It's single target, so it's gonna get on top of the 50%, but it's not gonna stack. So as you can see, having all these 3 units in the same team is not quite as beneficial as you might think. Yes, the passive part is actually quite good. Rachel has increased counter rate. Lee Young decreases ally skill cooldown by 10 seconds each time he attacks. But you want to prioritize passive skills that stack with each other in order to get an advantage. An example of that would be using Eileen, pairing her up with Delons. Delons increases damage. Eileen increases physical attack. Then pairing them up with somebody like Ace. After the revamp, he, as we said, increases damage inflicted on enemies and decreases their defense. Before that, you could have used, in case you don't have Ace, you can still use 2 other heroes. You can use Yuri, which decreases all enemies' defense. And you can also use Alice, who increases damage inflicted on all enemies by 40%. And then you can use somebody like a Velika or somebody in the backline. And that hero, actually with Aileen she won't stack, but you can swap her out with Daisy or even Victoria. And that way the backliner is gonna deal much more damage. And that's mostly what Adventure is up until World 9, where you're gonna need some kind of better synergy, a bit of tankiness as well, with the piercing coming out, and for the 813 to 815 as well, probably. You should be able to clear up until 813. You should be able to clear it pretty easily with pretty much any team, as long as you have masteries and formation maxed. But after that, even if you have them maxed, it's gonna be quite difficult unless you have the right combination of units, and that you have good equipment on them, and they're highly transcendent. So as you can see, it's not everything about, oh, I got Lubu and I'm gonna get to master in arena and all that stuff. It's not about having an overpowered hero. For me, this game is mostly about getting the right items through raids or ranking them up and building a right team combination. I will give you an example. Before Soy came out, everybody was using Velika or Ruri as backliners. And after Soy came out, she completely countered Velika. So at least for me, I didn't pull Wukong, and I didn't have any other resources available to get any other units. I didn't want to invest in any other units. So I just decided to put in my backline Nia, equipped with full counter armor, and also equipped with counter jewels. That way I would, and with Soy in my team. And also I had Rudy and some other defensive guy. Probably had Jhin for quite a while, and it was working quite well. My team wasn't taking damage, and from every single AoE my Nia was just counter-attacking and one-shotting everybody since she was in the backline, and actually had quite good items. I don't think I still have those items on my Nia. Actually I do. As you can see, these are the items I had on my Nia. I had 2 counter items which I swapped out, and the jewels were these ones. They're not that great, but as you can see, building a backliner which is tanky, equipped with counter, could have worked very well. Right now not, as especially arena, it's mostly about who goes first, and since every single team is offensive, it doesn't matter how tanky you are, you're probably gonna get one-shotted if the enemy team goes fast. So building a team that's fast enough, it's quite difficult. That's why you see most people in top arena using Yushin, not only because of his skills, but because he's fast. Black Rose is really fast, Ace is fast. I wouldn't put Aileen in here, since there's Delons who is much faster than her, as you can see. But this would be the perfect arena comp. They're all quite fast, they all have piercings, and they all deal quite a lot of damage when paired together. In top 50, last time I checked, everybody had more or less the same units. Dalons again, and if I'm gonna check actually, and I'm gonna show that they actually have 27% speed on her. Dalons is probably on 27% as well. I'm pretty sure she had the talons. Nope. Actually, yes, as you can see. And everybody in his team is quite fast. So it's mostly about this arena. It's about who's faster. But I'm not gonna be talking about arena. I wanted to tell you guys that building the right team comp is extremely important to get to every single stage. If you're facing Soy in World 9, you wanna use units that decrease their buff duration, like Ace, or you wanna use units like Black Rose, who ignore completely the passive and just hit 2 or 3 targets. Units like Lubu, which is a bit harder to get. Yushin again. So as you can see, everything is about countering the opponent. In Celestial Tower, there's some stages as well. Let's say this one. There's Sniper in there, and he has immune to physical damage. It's actually for 3 turns. And he also has 2 target piercing. That means that it's gonna be quite hard to get rid of him. For that, first you need to get rid of his 3 turns immunity, which is gonna be just in stage 3. So a Rudy for that works perfectly. Or also if you have a Lubu, for the 2 turns you can use an Ace or Nia or Black Rose to get rid of his immunity first, and then just hit him. So you need to counter the enemy and have the right amount of damage in most of the stages. In order to that, you either need to increase your own damage with passives or with buffs like Lina. Or if you find yourself that you can't survive a stage, that you would have enough damage but you didn't get that last skill off because you died, you might want to add somebody that gives you a bit of tankiness. And yeah, I guess this is pretty much it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm gonna be talking about why is it important to clear adventure, and in more detail about ruby farming. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you next time.